The story explodes right out of the gate as we meet Dan Evans, a desperate man trying to protect his family and his land. As they sleep at night, a sound rips through the air, forcing their eyes wide open. Dan realizes a frightening posse has assembled right outside his house, the thunder of their horses' feet growing louder. He rushes to the window, only to see the horror. His precious stable is completely engulfed in flames. Seeing this shocking arson, he runs to the door, but a ruthless man instantly smashes him on the head. Dan collapses, hitting the ground hard. As he tumbles, his fake leg slides forward. It's a devastating reveal. Dan is missing a leg. We quickly learn he was a soldier who had to have his leg amputated during the war. Since then, he's been relying on a prosthetic. Then, a thug named Tucker steps forward. The chilling message? Return the boss's loan as soon as possible. If we have to come next time, then we will burn your house to the ground.
Then we burn the house.
This chilling threat reveals the boss is Glenn Hollander, and Dan has a massive loan he hasn't been able to pay for a very long time. That's the real reason these intimidating people have invaded his home. The moment the attackers ride off, we meet Dan's eldest son, William. He storms over, absolutely furious at Dan. People came right to our door, set our stable on fire, and even struck you down. And you didn't dare to fight them even once. Dan has no answer for his son's stinging accusations. First thing the next morning, Dan tells his wife, "I have to go to the city and beg Hollander for more time. Otherwise, he will keep coming back to torment our family." But before that, he must track down the animals who bolted when the stable caught fire. Taking both William and his younger son, they leave together to find the runaway livestock. Meanwhile, on the other side of the wild frontier, we meet the legendary outlaw, Ben Wade. Ben commands a notorious, massive gang. They are riding fast, having been tipped off that a security company is transporting a huge haul of money in a buggy. They are here to rob that exact buggy. Soon enough, Ben spots the buggy. He orders his people, "Go and kill everyone and take the money." But Dan, with his children, is riding right into the middle of this deadly crossfire. He sees the carnage about to happen, a buggy speeding along, with a huge gang of robbers bearing down from the front. At that moment, Ben catches sight of Dan's fleeing animals. He realizes if he doesn't drive the animals onto the road, the buggy will escape. He fires his gun, stampeding the animals right into the path of the buggy, which violently turns over. Now, the victims are trapped and can't run. We watch Ben's terrifying right-hand man, Charlie Prince, stride forward. Charlie is a stone-cold killer. He starts executing the people inside the buggy without hesitation. But the main security guard, Byron, is hit but not dead. Ben coolly walks up to Byron. They clearly know and respect each other. Byron tells Ben, "Just kill me now.
Kill me.
If I stay alive, I will never stop hunting you down." Ben simply laughs and replies,
"I ain't gonna kill you.
"If you don't come after me after surviving this, I will be more surprised than you are." Ben orders his men to search the buggy and grab the money. Suddenly, a hidden guard pops out and points a gun at one of Ben's men, demanding they back off. What happens next is a twist. Ben immediately kills his own man first, and then executes the guard. He then turns to his dead henchman and snarls, "I killed you because you didn't do your job well. I told you to search the buggy." A little carelessness in our business means only one single thing: death. If you hadn't died, someone else would have. Dan and his children saw the entire gruesome incident. Dan tries to send the kids home, but William refuses to leave his father alone. Ben spots the family and starts walking toward them. A terrified Dan stammers, "I have nothing to do with you guys. My animals ran away last night. I have only come to take my animals back." Ben stares at him, saying, "Don't worry, we won't hurt you. But we won't go empty-handed. Give us your horses. But don't worry, we won't keep your horses forever." He gives Dan a location, "Come and take your horses after a while." Then, the gang heads toward the city. In the city, we meet Grayson Butterfield, the man to whom all that money was headed. He was waiting for the marshal. Charlie, ever cunning, changes his clothes and goes straight to the marshal's office. He lies, claiming the buggy was robbed. Butterfield is shocked and demands to know why Charlie didn't help. Charlie says, "I'm not crazy. Those robbers were heavily armed. I ran away from there just to warn you people." As soon as the marshal and his deputies hear this, They ride out. Meanwhile, Dan and his kids find the wounded Byron, still alive. Dan takes him along to get him treated. Back in the city, the gang is drinking in a bar. Charlie hands out their shares and tells Ben, "I'm staying in the city. I'm not going too far." Dan drops Byron off at the city hospital. Butterfield and the sheriff arrive. When they see Dan, they ask what the hell happened. Dan tells them everything. The marshal immediately realizes Ben is still in the city and tricked them on purpose. Everyone rushes back, taking Byron with them. As Byron's treatment begins, a massive manhunt for Ben starts everywhere. Dan finds Hollander and desperately begs for more time. Hollander coldly says, "It can't be like this. Your land is mine now, and I will sell it to someone else." Dan pleads, but Hollander tells him to just prepare to live somewhere else. In a burst of rage, Dan grabs his gun and runs inside, determined to finish Hollander's vile work. But inside, he finds Ben. Dan confronts him. "You killed my two precious animals." Ben, surprisingly, offers to pay him. Dan, needing more money, argues that Ben wasted his and his child's time. Ben hands him even more money. Just then, the marshal arrives, disarms Ben, and handcuffs him. He says they must kill this man as soon as possible. But Byron warns them, "Don't do this. His group will be nearby. If they find out we killed Ben, they will turn this city into a graveyard of bones." Butterfield corrects him, "Not us, but the government will kill him. We just have to take him to jail. But this job is going to be difficult. We need a group to take him to jail." Tucker and Byron volunteer, but they need one more person. Dan steps up. He says, "If I get $200, then I am ready to go with them." He needs that exact $200 to pay off his crushing debt. They instantly agree. But the moment they leave, Charlie shows up, killing two of their men. They realize Charlie was alone and has now left to gather his gang. Once his friends meet him, they will never be able to move Ben. They hatch a risky new plan. Dan will keep Ben at home while they take someone else in a buggy to act as a decoy. The gang will follow the buggy, thinking they are taking Ben away. Only the sheriff is in the buggy with one other man. Everyone else goes to Dan's house that night. Ben studies Dan, realizing the outlaw is likely a good man trapped by helplessness. He asks about Dan's leg, but before Dan can answer, a bullet rips through the air. They rush outside, but no one is there. Dan's wife confronts him. "What are you doing? You shouldn't do this dangerous, crazy thing." Dan explains, "I have no other choice. After this, I will pay all my debts. Along with that, my son and the people of this village will look at me with respect. My son thinks I am a coward. I want to change this perception." The doctor urges them to leave quickly. Before they leave, Dan talks to both his sons, telling them to guard the house. William insists, "I will also come with you. I know my aim is better than most of the people going with you." Dan refuses. "Your responsibility is for this house. Stay here and take care of your mother and brother." Ben tells Dan's wife, "I promise I will try my best that your husband comes back alive. And thank you for the hospitality." Ben asks where they are taking him. Byron explains, "There is a train that will send you to Yuma jail." Ben smiles, and they ride off. A while later, William secretly follows them. That night, as everyone sleeps, Ben tries to persuade Dan to turn back. "You should go back to your family. You don't even know what danger lies ahead." Dan answers, "I am a responsible citizen, and you are a looter. It is my duty to hand you over to justice." Ben counters, "You are doing this not for society, but for yourself. You need the money. If I was in your place, I would be with my wife, not here." Dan flies into a rage. "If you say my wife's name one more time, I will blow your head off right now." Ben laughs, realizing Dan still has a fighter's fire inside. As Dan tries to sleep, Ben also starts sleeping calmly. But then, Tucker taunts Ben, saying, "You won't sleep now. Your eyes will close when you are hanged, facing death." Tucker continuously insults him. Meanwhile, we learn that Ben stole a fork when he was eating. He cunningly pierces the thorn into Tucker's neck, and Tucker dies instantly. Byron starts beating Ben. They realize they can't stay there long and need to leave now. On the other side, Charlie catches up to the sheriff. He first brutally beats the sheriff and the other man violently. Then he comes to open the car, expecting Ben to be inside. But after opening the door, he sees that there is someone else inside. Then he gets terrified and enraged. He douses the buggy in oil and sets it on fire. He demands to know their real plan. Where are they with Ben? Otherwise, I will leave you both to burn alive. The man reveals, a train goes to Yuma. They will send him from there. Charlie, brutally, leaves the man to burn anyway and races off. Byron sees the burning buggy and knows they are being pursued rapidly. Dan says, I know a shortcut. We can leave from there. Ben warns it's deadly. Hunters are everywhere and none of them would survive that path, but they ignore the warning. They take the same route, but tension erupts between Ben and Byron. Byron taunts him, saying he knew Ben's mother. She was a prostitute. Rage flashes in Ben's eyes. He attacks, beats Byron, grabs his gun, and orders, jump off the cliff. When Byron refuses, Ben shoves him, and he's gone. Ben tells the others to move on without him. But before they can, William raises a gun. Dan swiftly disarms him, taking charge once again. That night, Ben speaks to William. You're brave, William. And smart. I was like you once. Completely fearless. I learned early that my needs were big. Food, women, everything. And only money could feed them. Never kill your desires, William. Later, as Dan steps aside, Ben says, your son's sharp, he dreams big. Dan snaps back, he's nothing like you. Stop comparing yourself to him. Suddenly, gunfire. Apaches ambush them. A bullet hits Dan. Ben reacts fast, drags him to cover and silently drops all three attackers, one after another. Now with the gun in hand, Ben demands the key. Dan refuses and throws it away. Ben knocks him out cold. When Dan wakes, Ben is gone, and so are their horses. Ben reaches a mining site. A man named Walter, whose brother Ben killed earlier, recognizes him. He and his men capture Ben. Before they can kill him, Dan and Butterfield arrive, demanding they release their prisoner. When the miners refuse, Dan is forced to start shooting. Bullets fly from all directions. This is where Dan proves his hidden talent, showing off his incredibly accurate aim. Remember, he was a soldier. They free Ben and run fast. While escaping, Dan cleverly grabs some dynamite sticks. But a bullet strikes and fatally wounds the doctor. As the remaining group bursts out of the tunnel, Dan throws the dynamites back inside. The massive blast seals the tunnel shut. They easily escape and make it to the city where the 3:10 train is about to leave. They need to stay hidden until then, so they head to a hotel room. Dan instructs William, stay downstairs. Ben's people are coming. When they arrive, inform me immediately. Upstairs, Butterfield says he's going to find the marshal for help. After he leaves, Ben asks Dan, what are you doing? So much risk for a measly $200? Leave me, and I'll give you a whole $1,000. Dan responds with pride, I am not a beggar. William runs up, confirming that Ben's entire murderous group is now in the city. Charlie starts shouting for Ben in the street. Ben goes to the window, attracting a huge crowd. Charlie promises, if you kill anyone up there, you will get $200 per kill. Many people join the mob. The marshal shows up with his men, pointing weapons at Charlie. Charlie's men instantly gun him down. Charlie just sits down, waiting for the survivors to come out. Butterfield sees the chaos and also gives up. He tells Dan and William to flee with him. Ben advises Dan to run away, too. But Dan refuses. Butterfield promises Dan the $200 if he comes back. Dan says no. You take William and go. I will send Ben to jail at any cost. If I do this, you will give $1,000 to my wife. And make sure Hollander never bothers my family again. Butterfield promises. Dan tells William, take care of the family. And never forget that your father was not a coward. When everyone else thought of running, he did not back down. He sent Ben to jail. We finally understand, Dan wasn't doing this for the money. He had to prove to his son that he was brave, not a coward. Dan takes Ben out the back door. Charlie's men find out and start shooting wildly. Charlie, fearing Ben might be hit, kills his own reckless men. Ben tells Dan, you still have a chance to go home. Don't follow me. This game is too dangerous now. He tries to walk away, but Dan grabs him. Ben hits him. Then, Dan confesses his deepest secret: I lied to my family. My foot wasn't injured during the war. That's not the truth. A bullet was accidentally fired from my own group and hit my foot. I have always seen the look in my son's eyes, that I am a coward. I need to prove I'm not a coward, even if it costs me my life right now. Ben is stunned and calms down. He agrees. Okay. I will go with you to the train. But after that, our paths are permanently separate. William hears the gunfire and follows them. They race to the railway station. Charlie and his gang have surrounded the whole place, firing bullets everywhere. William releases the bulls, creating a diversion. As Charlie's men are distracted, Ben jumps onto the train. He tells Dan, I have escaped from Yuma's jail twice. I'll be fine. Their job is done. But as Dan turns to walk away, Charlie shoots him. Dan falls, mortally wounded. Ben climbs down to him. Charlie hands Ben a gun and orders him, finish this man's pathetic work. But for the first time, we see tears in Ben's eyes. He feels deep remorse for Dan. He wanted Dan to go back a hero. But Charlie ruined everything. In a burst of righteous fury, Ben unleashes his gun, killing Charlie and all his remaining men. William runs to his dying father. He looks up, sees Ben, and aims his gun at the outlaw. Ben stands perfectly calm, tears streaming down his face. William realizes Ben did not shoot his father, and the killer feels genuine sorrow. He lowers his gun. A deeply disappointed Ben walks into the train and voluntarily surrenders. He does this so he can tell everyone that the man who brought him in was Dan. Dan's stories of courage spread everywhere. The film ends here, leaving us breathless. So, friends, our video explaining this incredible movie ends here. If you liked our video, then like it, share it, and hit that subscribe button right now. Thank you.